Another cold open for the Behind the Bits podcast. I am excited to be back on Twitch. I haven't been on Twitch for a little while. I didn't do an interview at all last week, and mostly because I was busy, and I don't plan on doing any next week, but I'm doing a couple this week. So nice to see you, Twitch people. This one is going to be really interesting. So the purpose of this podcast is to expose the listeners to knowledge about comedy. So that's why I ask comedians so many very pointed questions about how they write, how they book shows, and just all the stuff that they do. So I found an app that is revolutionary as far as I'm concerned. It's called ALiveShow app, and I'm going to pop this up here a couple times, but it's it's on iOS and Android, and basically it's an open mic on your phone, and all you got to do is put your phone up. And when I did it was a 3-minute set. I know they're expanding and doing more than that, but really, really cool. And I just have to say that as a comedian, one of the things that you have to do in order to get your set right and get your jokes right is to say it out loud to somebody else besides your mirror. And this eliminates you having to go out and do as many open mics as far as I'm concerned. You do have to do your stuff live in order to understand how a live audience is going to do it, but saying it out loud in front of people who are listening and laughing and actually voting on you is actually a really, really cool thing to do. So I'm going to bring them out instead of talking so much. It's Ruben Cagney and Forrest Haig, and there's Forrest and there's Ruben. And
Hey
I'm going to
guys,
move myself all the way over. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
thanks for having us, man. It's always a pleasure. We love every opportunity to share our cool project.
Yeah, I was really stoked when I heard about it. I actually heard about it from James Creviston from the Clean Comedy podcast, and
Good dude.
he mentioned it actually when he was interviewing me for the podcast, and I was like, okay, I need to check it out. And I downloaded it, and of course, I didn't touch it for like 3 weeks because you guys know what busy's like, and I'm busy. So I finally got on in a bit of an inebriated state and did my 3 minutes. I think I did 2 minutes, but
Hey, whatever it
but
takes.
yeah, and watched everybody, and it was really cool what was going on. And I'm looking at the chat and I'm making sure that I'm on 2 Twitch channels. I hope I'm not on the wrong one. But let me see. Yeah, no, I'm good. But yeah, I saw this comedy show on my phone and thought, okay, this is what every comic needs because open mics just suck. I mean, there's nothing fun about an open mic, and you do have to do them. I mean, you do have to go say the stuff live, but man, if you can cut out like your C&D jokes before you go to the open mic,
Right.
and know what you think your A and B jokes are going to be, man, that's a leg up. So I
Sure.
kudos to you guys for doing it. So are both of you comics first of all?
I'm the only comic. Me and
Okay.
Ruben, we've been friends for a super long time. We
Okay.
go way back, and we were in a band together in Sweden, and that's how we met. And and all these years later, now we have a company together, and we're making stand-up
Excellent.
comedy apps.
So did Ruben do all the coding work then, or did you guys do it together?
No, it was Ruben. Ruben
Yeah.
did the coding stuff, and I did the more of the like GUI and marketing stuff. And now we have some
Okay.
help, which is even better, right?
Yeah. So what was the idea that brought this on? Obviously, you guys had to have a light bulb go off. Was it a COVID thing, or was it something else?
Well, I'd say COVID is what really kicked the project into have to do it right now mode. But
Hmm.
it's actually a reimagination of another app that we made a long time ago that was called Crowdsourced Comedy.
Okay.
And I was doing that in New York City. And basically, it was like a live stand up comedy show that I would live stream and that you could vote on the comedians from your phone. So if you were
Okay.
at your house, you could watch the live stream and you could on your phone, you could kind of like interact with the show. But really, you were in control of all the content. It was a
Mm.
completely improvised show, and everybody would, people would submit photos from their phones to the show. And then when they
Uh-huh.
came to the show, instead of comedians just doing a standard showcase, I would have them come up and then on a projector, two of those pictures from the people that are actually in the show, in the audience,
Uh-huh.
would pop up behind you. And then it'd pop up on all their phones at the same time. And then they'd have 20 seconds to vote. What picture do we want you to be funny about right now? And then whatever
Oh.
one would go full screen, and he'd have to be funny about that until he couldn't do it anymore. And then
So what?
call for another picture.
So just a weird question. What kind of pictures did you put up?
It wasn't our pictures; it was audience pictures.
Oh, his audience. So what did they send?
Sometimes they'd send just a photo of themselves, it'd just be
So
like this.
so like a roast, yeah. So
Sometimes it'd be kind of roasty.
yeah.
And we always liked that. We always liked when it went that way. Sometimes it'd just go off the rails because we had such great talent around us.
Uh-huh.
Like we had a guy who came and did the whole set like he was who's that? Nick Nolte or Gary
Oh,
Busey. Yeah, he did the whole set like he was Gary Busey. That was his
okay.
character that he was doing for a
Hmm.
show. So he did a 5-minute burn roast set as Gary Busey, burning everybody down. So it was incredible, man. It was more of a roast show, but it's really got us into building apps and trying to update
Uh-huh.
the stand-up comedy concept. Like the how shows are done, how they're produced.
Yeah,
That had to have been a lot of work
well,
to do that.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
yeah.
we
It
both
was.
did that one.
And I remember. So I'm in Boston, and Forrest was in New York, and he came up one weekend, and he said it was really rough to get your name out. And then we're like, well, there's a big pool, and doing what everybody does is always hard because there's a big pool. But if you like focus down, say, can we combine something? Can we, like, if you do comedy with music, you're already a narrower pool.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a comedian, but I wanted to help him. I was like, hey, what if we add technology in the mix and try an app in that? And then the whole idea of crowdsource was in a physical club.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, what if but it was not scalable. Like you had to be in New York
Right.
to perform.
Yeah.
So we're like, what if we add live stream to it where the performers can be on the live stream from their home
Mm-hmm.
and then that was around when COVID hit. And it was like, why don't we just build that for now?
Mm.
And that's how it came
Right.
about.
And that's when we hit the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the app itself is first of all, it's very easy to use, and
Thank you.
one of the things that's different about this app than a lot of apps is it's totally free for people to sign up and use. You don't have to spend a penny in order
Right.
to use the app, and I think that's great because you're a comedian, for us. You know what it's
Yeah.
like to be poor.
I mean,
so-
honestly, it's a core
Yeah.
concept. It's something that we've talked about and we've really made the core of all of one. It's something we think about with all of the decisions that we make,
Mhm.
is to me, the most important part is that no one should ever have to pay to do a mic as a performer.
Mhm.
And no one should ever have to pay to watch a mic of
Right.
open mics. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yep.
it's to support the room, man. We're all in
Yep.
there. We're trying to get jokes out and I'm going to charge you for it. Like that feels like I'm back in New York.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like you'd go to Mike's, you'd get 5 minutes for $5 and you'd still have to buy an $8 drink. I mean, it was crazy,
Yeah.
And then the free ones, there'd be 45 comedians at, so you might have to wait 2 hours for your 3-minute set.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got to take a subway to the next one,
Yeah.
At least we had Subway, don't get me wrong, but there's just so many problems that this app helps solve, and and what I always want to make sure I say to comedians is, because they get very defensive sometimes, and I'm a comedian, I understand why. The live we're not trying to replace live comedy. That's not what we're doing.
Mm.
our goal is to give you another tool, to give you another way to network, to meet new comedians, to get your name out there, to promote yourself, to make some cash, because we do let you get tipped, and to work on your jokes every day. You know, you don't have to wait for that once a week mic if you're in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend 3 hours on the subway if you're in New York City, you know?
Yeah.
Now, not to say those don't have value, but it's just, why not both? You know what I mean? Why can't we have live shows and another thing where you don't have to put all the effort into it?
Excellent. So there's no bringer shows on a live show app.
No bringer shows at all. Zeros. No drink minimum either.
Yeah. It's nice because, you know, I showed you my whiskey bottle. It's always beside me before we started, and it's cheaper that way because, you know, when I do an open mic, I drink every single time, and I usually have 2 beers before the show and 2 beers after, and that's 15-20 bucks right there. And who
I can tell you're not
this?
performing in New York City. That's
Yeah, I
30
know
bucks in New York. I was like, tell me where you're performing. I'll go there and order some beers right now.
Oh, I got to tell you a funny story. Is in Indiana, everything's super cheap where we are.
I'm in Michigan, so we're not far off. Right?
Yeah, but my daughter lives in DC, and we were all out there. My son was out there, and my daughter's husband, my son-in-law, and Nathan, my son, and I went to a bar, and he said he wanted to buy a round of drinks. And this was a pretty upscale bar, and I think the round of drinks was something like $75 or something like that. And he showed it to me. He said, "Holy shit, Dad. I'm glad I live in Indiana.
I'm going to buy this round in installments."
Yeah. Oh yeah. He I don't think he's going to offer to buy drinks there anymore, but that was pretty funny. And he got pretty wasted that day too. So I've got pictures to prove it, but yeah, that was super funny.
Yeah.
So you've got the idea for the app. I just want, I don't like math or coding or science, or I mean, I like the fact that science exists and coding exists, but I can't do that. My brain is not like that. How long did it take you to get the app where you wanted to make it public and start using it?
Well, first of all, this is what I do professionally. So I build software, so that's a plus.
Oh yeah.
But I think we had a main concept going, but like you said, it's true. Because we automated everything. It's basically an automated open mic. There's a lot of external factors, right? Somebody could say, opens the app, says, "I want to perform," and then their battery dies, or they get a phone call, or we had to really start thinking about what is a good way of making sure that when it's your turn, you're actually there. So that took a while to kind of go back and forth. But I think about 4 or 5 months we got the iOS version going. We got a lot of feedback of hey, what about Android? The biggest complainer was Forrest because he had no Android, and he's like, "I don't want it.
I'm Android."
Yeah, and I'm a Droid guy.
So we got a version going. I think somewhere in July or something like that, I think, or June. But we got because we made it like that. If only one performer came that night, we would cancel the show because we needed at least a couple.
Yeah.
And so we maybe had one show a week that way, and we learned. But the biggest thing was we didn't have live audience feedback. We didn't have that. Because we thought if we just open that up, it's gonna be a mess. We're gonna just hear everybody going. But then in January, we were like, why don't we just try it? And we tried that, and that all of a sudden made it go crazy. And we had shows every night, every single night. There were people there, and it was phenomenal. And then we spent about a month, I would say, really digging into those noise issues. Like somebody left their phone to to go to the bathroom and somebody was talking next to it and you hear background noise, or somebody was doing something else, and or there was a train, or there was and so we had echoes, we had a whole bunch of audio issues. And now I think since the last month and a half, I think we really nailed it. That the experience is great. We do some magic, we do some like auto muting, we do some, and we highlight the performer going on. And I think that's also where the difference is with normal streaming platforms, where it's either everybody's equal and it's all about convention, like, hey, please don't turn on your video during or don't put up your audio very high when you're on a Zoom mic and somebody's be nice. And that's great, but we try to like kind of make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's a little bit
or take away from the experience, you know. Like the whole point is we want you to feel like you're as close to a live show as you can get. You know what I mean? So everything that isn't that takes away a little bit, you know. And so anything we can take away with automation, with how the set lists are put together, how the bucket's drawn, you know, all that stuff just makes it feel more authentic. And that's what I want as a comedian. You know, I want to go to a mic and then leave it and say, oh, that taught me something about my jokes. Right. You know, either I should keep doing it, I should change everything, whatever. You know, I just don't want to leave a mic and say that was a waste of time. That's the worst case scenario. You know?
And we started adding some data, like how many laughs you got. You know, Scott, at the end we pick a winner. We do that based on the like laughs or claps that somebody gives, either just by tapping on the screen, or when somebody actually laughs, we record that. But we have that time series. So our end goal is to really show you a video where you see what jokes really spiked, which ones didn't. But we're not there yet.
We'll get there.
Step by step.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great addition. But just, you know, I obviously, when I got on, I think you had worked a lot of the bugs out, because I could hear people laughing, and I could hear, I knew that people could hear me laughing when I listened to somebody else. So, and it's pretty intuitive. I mean, you know, for an older gentleman like me to just jump right in and do it, it's pretty darn easy to do. And I have to say that the fact that you're kind of building a community there, and you've got some newbies and you've got some people who are a little bit more seasoned. And I've watched a few shows when I wasn't performing, and I mean, you've got like all different ones, but you're forming a pretty supportive community, because nobody, you know, I haven't seen too many shows where somebody's an asshole, and I know I know that auto mutes, but you do get it auto mutes after somebody says you suck, you know. They'll get that much in, and yet I don't see too much of that. So you know, kudos to making an app that's intuitive, but also I think human nature is a little bit different than I expected when I saw the app, because I mean, New York comedy, I mean, you're used to getting catcalled and people telling you suck, or just completely ignoring you, whereas here it doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, that's probably we didn't necessarily, I always hoped that comedians would help us, you know, because we're helping you, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we're like, this is a free mic, we're doing it, we're letting you do all this for free, so please help promote, help do some stuff, and they've really come through, and that was what I was expecting. But I didn't expect everybody to be awesome, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect that every person that used the app was a cool person, you know what I mean? Like, we're all hanging out now we're like, our Patreons, we all hang out together. We're on a Slack channel together. We love talking to each other and getting ideas from each other. And we do joke workshops where we work on our jokes before mics so that we can get better, you know, like, isn't that the whole point, is to get better? And I feel like new comedians are truly the most benefited by this app initially. Like, there's a whole group of people that could be comedians. Yeah, they just have never even had an opportunity, or they've been too scared, or that stage scares the hell out of them, or just the first time. The first time's the scary time. And especially because you don't know what you're doing, you have no friends, you have no guidance, you have nothing. You know what I mean? If you come to our app, you're fully supported, man. You get to try something new. I mean, you get to try it multiple times, and then you can say, oh, I'm ready to go on a stage or not. You know what I mean? And you get to make that decision. And I think our favorite people, everybody's awesome. And it's great to have new old comedians and comedians that are very good on there. Who doesn't? That's great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we love our new guys, and they've really made the community come together.
And people are paralyzed, you know, to go up on a stage in front of people, and this is a step. It's you know, if they do that and they get a few laughs and somebody shoots them a message and says, hey, you're pretty good, that joke really landed, and that gives them enough courage and enough confidence in themselves that they might get up on stage.
Sure.
So,
and the laughs speak for themselves. You know, if you're having a hot set, you feel it. You know what I mean? Like I know I do. When I'm doing well, I bomb just like everybody else. I'm no fantastic godly comedian. I'm just a regular guy. And you know, the bombs you got to take in stride. But what's important to know is that it's real. You know? So like when you don't hear laughs, it's because you got to work on your jokes. You know what I mean? No doubt. And that's what I want.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we like, it's true for comedians, but what we also are introducing now is producing a show and hosting a show. So we have the every night there's the open mics, they're automated, but now we also allow improv people or people that just want to host a stand-up show do it on our app. So like we had somebody host it for the first time, and they were never an MC before. They always wanted to try it, and now they tried it on the app, and they really liked it, and they did all the prep work of all the comedians that they booked, and it was amazing. And I think that's where we want to get to as well, is if people can do their shows on the app. Right now it's all on Zoom, and Zoom is great, but like we said before, it's all about convention. Zoom's not built for comedy, it's built for meetings, but people make it work, and they do an amazing job. But now for ticketing, they have to go to Eventbrite, and for comedian profiles, they have to like type them in the chat boxes, et cetera, et cetera. Which that's the tools they got, and we're trying to find, can we shift that audience to the app where they can book their own shows, host them, and maybe get ticketing and get paid directly into the app and have it as one unified, and all the links are there, the comedian profiles, they can put all their socials, all their Venmo, their Cash App, all inside of the app. And that's our final hope, is that we have one stop shop to do that. And you mentioned community, that's our long dream. Like right now we bank on all the social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter to do like community-based stuff. But what if you could go to the app and you could see which shows are people hosting and which shows can I join? Because I'm interested, like I want to go on this single moms over 40 night, and I want to put myself on there, and I can request to join. Or the inverse, I want to book a show, I want to find comedians. Now I see all these, I could rewatch the shows that they did on the app. I could see how funny they were, and then find that as well. So it's truly a community, in my opinion, in the long term.
Yeah, I feel like and I obviously did the Patreon so that I could help you guys out, but the community on the Slack channel, obviously very, very cool, very, very good. I do think some of the cues of being cool on an app like this did come from the Zoom comedy, because people who are assholes on a Zoom comedy show, they get called out really quick, and everybody on social media knows who they are. so I think it's like be nice or get out of comedy. So I think that did help, but I do understand the limitations of Zoom comedy that are being addressed by your app, because like the auto mute you know, if a host is not on it on Zoom and somebody, you know, they drop their phone in a blender or whatever, I don't know,
we can
is
give you
making
some
a
real
bunch
life
of
examples.
noise. Yeah, they have to go. They have to click and find the person who is doing it. So they're muting people one at a time. Sometimes it takes them 5 minutes to find the person who's making all the noise. So you know that right there is a huge plus, and it's so easy to. Yeah, I found out that it's so easy to. Just cast the app to my TV so I can
Yeah, it's nice, right?
put it on, you know, 55-inch TV, and it makes it a better experience and really cool. And you know, I'm trying to figure out. I've got this little thingy for my phone that's attached to my monitor, and I want to try to figure out how to take that upstairs because I don't have a TV downstairs. Everything's upstairs. So I want to try to figure out how to do that, and then I can just sit on my couch and do a set and have some fun.
The American dream, right there.
Yeah.
I did that on Saturday because we're going to start doing Saturday showcases where we highlight the comedians of that week. And did one on Saturday, and I just cast it on my TV, and it was just a great experience as well.
Yeah, and don't forget, like one of the features that I think is underutilized, but I think is incredibly powerful, is that we give you the ability to download your sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after you get done with the set, you can just download it. It's yours, and then delete it. It's gone. You know what I mean? The world will never know about it, right?
You don't have to go to the Zoom recording and find your place and where you performed. We automatically cut out the bit that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just you and your 5-minute set or 3-minute set or whatever kind of set it is, and you get to review it when you're done as many times as you want. You don't have to remember anything. You don't have to try to go back, look at your notes. I mean, it's all right there. It's like you have a vlog of your joke book.
Yeah. Yeah. And like they say, always record your sets. So you did it.
Yeah. We took the thinking out of it. We just do it.
Yeah.
And it's in your control. Just so everyone knows, we don't keep these. We don't do anything with them. They're yours until you delete them, and then they're gone forever.
Yeah, I just can't believe that you've thought of so many things. I'm sure you'll keep adding stuff. I know Ruben's probably got one of those brains. He wants to keep it going, but man, it's just really neat what you can do. And you know, I can't tell you enough that, like I said before, you spend so much time writing your material, and you just want to say it out loud. To somebody besides the mirror and my wife and stuff like that. You just want to say it out loud. And if it sucks, it sucks. Rewrite it, do it better. And if it continues to suck, just get rid of it. But knowing if you've got something that really hits that you didn't expect to hit, you know, you all of a sudden that joke moves up your set. And then when you do a live show, not a live show app, when you go to a live comedy show, you are so much more prepared.
Oh yeah.
To do your set.
I mean, it's made me write, you know, I don't know about you, but sometimes me as a comedian, I go into highs and lows of writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'll go a couple months where I won't write anything. I'll just be doing my material at mics, or I'm doing a lot of book shows, so I'm not really doing mics, you know? And then I try to write a little more, and you know it's all about practice, right?
Yeah.
But since May, I've performed in over 250 mics on a live show.
Wow.
And I've written new material for every single one. So that's 450 minutes of material that I made over the last year. And it's all recorded. So I go through it so quick. Now I'm going back and I replay them one by one, and those are my jokes for the night. I just rewrite them all. And so when that magic happens, I can go find it again. You know what I mean? And I don't have to worry about, I don't know. It's just a huge benefit, such a benefit to be able to go back to your material from months and months ago and be able to see what happened. You know what I mean? We tell you how many jokes, how many laughs you got during that set too. So you can go back and you say, oh, look, this set got way more than this set. What happened here? Was it just me? Was it my attitude? Was it the crowd? You know, you can answer some of those questions, you know?
And we had a performer that was one of our first performers on the app that never did comedy and wanted to try it out. And like a month
yeah.
ago, he performed every week, and then after a while he performed every other day, and then a month ago he posted a video on YouTube of him actually at a club doing his bit.
Wow.
And you could tell that it's the jokes that he practiced over and over, and it was just it was so heartwarming.
It was great. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, that stuff just melts me.
And it probably wasn't a shitty open mic set like
he killed. Yeah, he did. Yes,
me.
He did really good. He posted on YouTube. We all watched it, and I was like, "Whoa, look at this, dude!" Well, I wish that was my first mic. Jesus.
Yeah.
My first mic was just me like frozen on the stage, hoping that the silence would stop.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's funny you talk about doing 250 shows between May and now. Talk about an incentive to write. So you wanted to do new material for every show, and I can't think of any other more incentive to write than just to click that I'm going to do this show, and I have to have so many minutes ready for it.
There's a lot of regulars. There's a lot of guys that watch the show every night too that aren't performers. So how do you get those laughs? You can't. Of course, you want to do jokes multiple times, but you don't have to do it every time. Space it out. Especially if you're doing like some nights we have 3 mics a night. 3 mics, I can do 9 minutes. If they're only 3-minute mics, I'll do 9 minutes of comedy in a night, and then I'll use that same one on Friday. Or some of the best jokes I'll pick out of it, and then between there, all new stuff. So I'm just building up towards my showcases, basically.
Yeah,
and it's been working so far. I was number 1. I used to be number 1.
Yeah.
I deleted my score to 0. If you guys don't know, we do cool. So if you win a set, we give you 15 cool points, right?
Yeah.
And if you just participate in a set, we give you 10 cool points. And if you RSVP, we give you a little more, right? So we keep track of this, and we have a scoreboard on the app live of who's got the most cool points at any given time. And right now, I think it's Gilbert or Seth.
Yeah.
Seth is the number 1 comedian in the app right now based on cool points. I relinquished my title.
But people love it. People love, like, we got emails of people saying, hey, because we do a 30-day average, so it shifts. So if you don't use the app for a while, you actually your points go down, and people like emailing us saying, hey, my points went down. What is going on? So people are really excited about this, and it really shows that gamification really helps. And so actually one thing that we're building right now is badges. So you could, the most laughs, or the most sets you've done, or the most streak you've done, or the most laughs within one set, and try to like gamify it a little bit. And we're really excited to
and all just to make it, just to help encourage you to write, man. Be a better comedian. That's all it is. In the end, the real prize is getting on stage and killing it. You know what I mean? And we want to be the tool that helps you get there.
Yeah, no doubt. How many users do you have right now?
Like performers or users at total?
People who signed up for the
as
app,
performers,
downloads.
Or as an audience member, you don't have to sign up. You can just come in and watch the show. But we do keep track of just our numbers. But I don't know. What do you think about for performers? Let's start there. I
think we had about 500 performers, and of that, maybe a fourth came more than once. Like there are people that come in and they try it and they didn't like it, and then we never see them again, and that's fine. And then users, I think we're around 3,000, 4,000 of people that like unique people that ever showed up. So that's great. I don't think and I think that's the fun part. It feels like a mic, because like we have about 15 to 30 people like in that range every show.
At any mic,
any mic. That's huge. People organize Zoom mics every week, and then they get like 20 people. We do that every night, and I think that really shows.
Times a night.
And you open the app and you see this number, because you see the number of how many people are in the room, and it goes up, and you're like, who are? We have no idea who those people are.
Promotionally, it can't be beat. Like think about it like this. Think about you producing a show and not promoting at all, and 30 people showing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's basically what it is right now. If you if you do a show, 25 people will be there.
Yeah.
If you book your own show, they'll be there, because we are the promotion engine. We provide the materials, and comedians are promotional monsters.
Right.
So if you put up a poster, they're going to share it. They're going to share it all over the world. If you put up in a tag, they're going to tag you back. You know what I mean? So it's like we've got a good ebb and flow with promotion and with our audience, to where now if you go to any mic at all, without even telling someone you're going to be there, there'll be on average about 20 people there.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. My sister-in-law is a designer, and that's a question. She makes amazing art, and she offered to help us out on social media, because I don't know anything about social media.
Yeah.
But like, if you sign up, if you say I'm coming tonight, we tag you in our Instagram post, in our Twitter, in our Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's great. And then people really get excited about that. And we make really nice posters. We did jump into this social pilot, or a program that will post for us. So we have like a month worth of promotions lined up. We'll highlight our ladies' night on Wednesday, because we really want to push on be as diverse as we can. We push for Fridays, we do 5 minutes. So like, because everything is scheduled, we could really promote that. And Forrest had this idea very early on. Let's not try to promote every night, but like focus on 2 nights to really, really hone in. And that was Tuesdays and Fridays, and people start coming back all the time that night. And then in between, we still have audience, but typically the Tuesdays and Fridays are the biggest nights as well.
We changed it to Thursday though. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our 3 nights, and then Fridays are 5 minute night.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
cool. So does one of you have to be there for the show? You don't have to be there. Cool.
Nope.
But we
even
do.
though we are, we are at every show.
Yeah. So we also we built some features where we can kick people out. We have never had to do it. We only had to do it because of technical issues. Somebody started performing and then their phone fell out. Then there's 3 minutes of a gap. Then we can skip
them. Yeah.
There was one time very close with somebody being very, very inappropriate, and we wanted to kind of jump in, but like that the interesting part, the audience kind of started booing.
Regulated. Yeah, they started booing.
And it started kind of like, it just regulated itself, and it was
rightfully so. Audience, I would have booed that guy too, and I did. I think I was one of the voices. Like, bro, get off the stage.
And we do have some people, even though the auto mute works, sometimes we do have an issue. We have a button that says mute the whole audience. Yeah. And then we say it, hey, we're gonna mute everybody, and then whoever is paying attention can unmute themselves. But this could be somebody that totally forgot their phone is somewhere else, they're not paying attention, and something goes off. But we haven't had to do that lately. So
we got some great tools. Thanks, Ruben.
And the hosted shows are not automated, right? Because the whole idea of the app is it's automated, and that's terrifying. Because like, if something goes wrong, if one thing goes wrong, I think we had it once as well, where the set never ended, and the guy that was performing loved talking, so he just went on.
Yeah, he had like 40 minutes of him just telling a story. And that's okay. We love his stories, but you know how you want to keep the times, you know.
And then
no doubt.
But with hosted shows, we allow the host to kind of make the set list up front. They're like, I'm going to go on, then Jimmy's going to go for 5 minutes, then I'm going to come in for 1 minute, then Forrest is going to go on for 5 minutes, and then our headliner is going to go on for 10 minutes. And they program it up front, and then they only have a next button that they just have to tap, and they could just go next.
Next, right.
And they have the same tools that we have. They can mute the audience if people are too noisy. They could skip people, etc. Right. So that's been fun as well on that end.
Yeah.
And another thing that this may not be as obvious to folks, but Zoom and this, I use Restream, they are data hogs. I mean, if you don't have super good bandwidth, I mean, I've got fiber, so I'm okay. But if you don't have super good bandwidth, your set may be messed up.
We prioritize audio.
Yeah, and that's good. And I'm going to try it. I'm just going to try it with my 5G instead of my Wi-Fi at
It'll
some
be
point. But it looks to me like just about anybody can get on that's got a decent connection, and it doesn't have to be the same quality connection like for this.
Right. If you got bars, you can perform as long as you're not 3G. You know, I think if you've got a couple bars on 4G or basically any bars on 5G because it's so fast.
Yeah.
That I've performed on 5G and 4G with this app, so it's definitely been tested. So don't let the whole point is to let the technology that we already have on us allow us to do these mics and not make you have to get anything else. You know, like I know there's an argument for having it work on a computer, right? Because then you're like, oh, I can get a better camera, I can set up my screen, I can get a better microphone, and I totally understand all those points. That's it's legit, but I just don't want barriers, man. I don't want anybody to need more than a phone, because as soon as that happens, then everyone's going to start feeling inadequate, and they're going to be like, oh, I can't use this, I look like a potato.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to feel that way. Come, have fun. Everyone's welcome.
That is a huge point, because people start getting polished and they get fancy backgrounds and stuff like that. And
it's the jokes, man.
And with this app, you know, it's an even playing field. So
we had a performer perform in his shower.
Literally showering. I was like, oh, I'm glad you're a dude, because chest up on anybody else might have been a lawsuit.
yeah. Well, I can say you do accept sponsors too, and I sponsored a few days, and I saw a jump both in my podcast downloads and website visits. So
thank you so much. I'm glad that feedback is incredibly valuable to us. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know how hard it is to get people to come to your app, because it's new, it's different. People aren't used to it. The same thing's for podcast. I mean, it's hard to get people to listen to a podcast too. But yeah, I was pleased with the results. It's better than a Reddit ad that I did, and it's better than a Spotify ad that I did. So
there you go.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I mean, you know what the difference is, in my opinion, and I think everyone should hear this. If you are interested in people that like funny stuff, right? So like, we're talking your podcast, you're a funny dude, you're talking about comedy stuff, right? We're talking other people's comedy podcasts where they're doing Dungeons and Dragons. They still want fun people to come, you know? Or if you're doing a comedy Zoom show even, you know, and you're not using our app, even then, these are people in the app that are comedians or are mega fans of comedy.
Yeah.
So talk about a narrow audience. Like you're getting your ad in front of people that go to live shows, that watch podcasts exclusively, that we know do. You know what I mean? So it's just the group that we're showing your sponsorship to is just such a great group of people who really want to support things. So it has a lot of added value, even if the numbers aren't 10 million views a day or something. You know, I feel like our views are incredibly valid.
Because we want to keep the app free, like you mentioned before, as much as we can. So we did Patreon, we do sponsorships, we do merch. Go to
mine's coming,
and that's just we're trying those, because we don't want to really make profit from it. We just want, if we can break even, that's for us a win. That's what because we're doing this with the heart. Like, it's not like we want to become. We have a dream to buy a helicopter. We have a dream
of buying helicopters. So
and
if you guys want to start a GoFundMe for our helicopter campaign, we'll allow it. Allowed. Okay, start a GoFundMe to get us helicopters. But
we're trying to find ways to add value, right? We don't want to just. We thought about ads, but we talked about the barrier. We had ads in the beginning, and it was not fun. People didn't show up because you just get blasted by ads. So we tried to do everything opt in. Like, if you want to be a sponsor for our show, thank you so much. But we're not going to say you have to do this before you can go to the next thing. And but we do have ideas with workshops, joke workshops, or something like that. Can we offer that through the app, and then rightfully so, be able to pay the comedian that does the joke workshop? And we are the platform, so like find a way where it's win-win. We started posting on Reddit about our shows, and people and there was some people say hey, you should pay your comedians that come on the show, and trust us, we want to do that. Like we would love to
I
be able to pay people, but it's finding a way where it's win-win for everybody. And so if you can find a way, we'd love to. But right now,
tips is what we got right now.
Yeah,
I'm a beer. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, no doubt. What's the best feedback you've gotten from somebody about the app?
The best feedback that I get are from people that have never done comedy before, and then now are part of a community of comedians, and that progression from, hey, thanks so much. You know, I've always wanted to do comedy. We get this often, actually. People that say, hey, I've always wanted to do comedy. I just never had the opportunity. Life got in the way. It's too far to drive. I'm just nervous. I have no friends that are in that world. And to have them start using the app and then tell us later that this has really spurred them and jump-started their entrance into comedy, that's the best compliment we can get.
Yeah, somebody recently posted on Instagram something similar, but he was a comedian. Because of the pandemic, wasn't able to go out and perform, tried Zoom comedy and stuff, and didn't feel like that was his spot. And now he's on our app and he's enjoying it so much. He comes back every night. He posts his sets on Instagram, and he gave us that feedback of like, I found the love of the art again. And it was like, whoa, that's awesome. And
the disenfranchised comedians have been a real inspiration for us. Like people that basically quit and they're like, now I'm doing it again, and I would never have done it ever again.
Yep. And
I also like the fact that after a particular show is done, there's a little bit of time to kind of talk and hang out amongst everybody.
So if I can interject, sorry. The reason we did that is we had so many ideas about saying, what do we want to tell the audience or the comedian after a show? What should we tell them? Like, go share us, download your stuff, give us, donate, go become a Patreon, go to our, like, we had like this laundry list, and we're like, how are we going to convey this in the app? Like, if we have 10 buttons, nothing will be this, like, which one would people have to click on? We're like, what if we just leave the audio on and we just tell them?
Yeah.
And it became this really fun after party kind of thing where we're done and people are like, hey, what did you think about this joke? And then people start, and sometimes I just leave it on. I'm not participating in the conversation. And it's so much fun to hear people exchange ideas and become really a community. And it's fun. I love that feature. It's so stupid if you think about it, because we just leave the audio on.
Yeah.
But it brings a lot of value, and I think we found ways to like, somebody was going to organize a comedy show. It was like, hey, I need some advice, and we all started talking, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool that it's kind of like an open mic, because people shoot the shit after an open mic. So why not keep it the same way? And that makes it a much more organic growth, because you're not putting banners out, and you're not saying click lists to share and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to. So that, I really like that. Well, I can say that I'm totally sold. I'm really kicking myself for not doing more mics when I sponsored it, because what better way to get the word out? I did one freaking mic, but so next time I sponsor, I'm going to make sure it's a time when I have time to do a few mics. And I've been, the funny thing is I've been writing, because I'm taking a class, and I've been doing a lot more writing and rewriting of jokes. So I've got stuff to do. I've got stuff I can put out there. So you'll probably see another sponsorship for me pretty soon, so that I can keep growing and help you guys out. And
hey, vice versa, man. We want to help you out. You're doing something good. We're doing something good. Let's take care of each other.
Yeah, no doubt. Where can people find you on, like, your Instagram and Facebook and all that?
Yeah, the website is ALiveShowApp.com. There's a tree in there, a link tree that's got all of our stuff. But if you go to anywhere and you type a live show app, that'll usually get us to you. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, a live show app is usually our handle.
Great. And you, I'm glad you guys got that that name because I almost would think that
You're
would have been taken.
person.
Yeah, yeah.
We get a lot of back and forth about the name. Some people don't like the name. Some people really like the name. I love the name personally.
I like it.
I think it's. I like it because it kind of almost sounds like two names, so it sticks in your brain a little bit. You're like, are they saying a live show or a live show?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just kind of like it. They're both right to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's both, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can say, you know, I of course wish you guys the best, but I think that this is really going to do well for you, and and I really appreciate the fact that you did it pretty selflessly. That you did it so that people could go out and learn the craft and practice and do all that, and that you're adamant about making it free for people. I think that's, I mean, you could monetize this and you know, make pay to play shows and do the ads and stuff like that, and you might still grow, but the fact that you're not making it a bringer show really makes it that much more legit in my mind.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Yeah. And I think it's finding that right. Like, where does it make sense to bring that in? We talked, and it needs to add a lot of value before we gate it with some monetization. So I think there is a lot to it.
Yeah, we'd rather make money with you than make money from you. Let's put it that way. We'd rather you put on a show and ticket the hell out of it and get 600 people to show up, and then we all make a little money, as opposed to, hey, pay us $30 to do a show, and if you don't make anything, eat it. You know what I mean? So to me,
no doubt.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, great job, guys. I'm glad we finally got to talk.
Hey, what a blast, man! I had a great time on your podcast.
I gotta pop your graphic up one more time.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
My sister made it.
Yeah. Isn't it great having a graphic artist in the family?
Oh my God. It's like the greatest the greatest life hack ever is have a graphic artist and a programmer, Ruben.
Yeah. I've got a little cartoon of me at the mic. It's on my Twitch channel. I use it for some other things too.
I see it sometimes.
It cost me $300, you know, so because I don't have a graphic artist in the family. Yeah.
Wait until you see our badges. They're going to be gorgeous.
They're so cool.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Funny.
And there as well, like, the thing is, my sister-in-law is helping, and she has a design business, and we're just going to put her link on the bottom. Be like, hey, go visit her link, and like trying to just like make it all work for each other. And whoever's helping us will help them. I think that cross promotion is so valuable.
Yeah, no doubt.
We promote you promote us, and that's great.
Yeah. Well, I'm super stoked to have you guys on the show, and I'm going to get back in the app and do some more stuff. I don't think I'm going to jump on tonight because I'm on somebody else's podcast tonight, but maybe tomorrow night I'll jump on and I've got a show tomorrow night. Okay, I'll be on sometime. Sometime I will definitely be back on the app, but
it's funny because a lot of people apologize, and we're like, the app is going to be there. Like, if you can't make it tomorrow, come the next day. If you can't make it the next day, if you want to come in a month, come in a month. Like, there's no ties because it's all booked and scheduled. So just show up whenever you feel like it. If you signed up and you don't show up, we're not going to come yell at you. That means that
right.
Like,
you're not going to get all those sweet cool points.
Exactly.
Yeah, you missed out on at least 10 cool points.
At least 10.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks guys for being on the show. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It's been a blast, man. Thanks for having us.